السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله هيا للصلاة هيا للصلاة هيا للفلاح هيا للفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة في الإسلام بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Bismillah al-Afiyah. All praise is due to Allah Azza wa Jal. We praise Him and we extol Him and seek refuge in Allah Tabarak Ta'ala from evil within ourselves and evil results of our wrong actions. Whomsoever Allah guides can be never left astray in misguidance. And whomsoever Allah Tabarak Ta'ala allows to go astray, and there is nothing that we can do to solve that dilemma. Amma bad. As what follows, my dear Salam and Imam. Today, I would like to remind myself and you all of the importance of a taqwa. A taqwa. And this is a phrase or a statement or a kalima or a command that has been mentioned in many places in the Quran and the authentic Sunnah. As occurred in the hadith of the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when a man came to the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and while he was sitting with his companions, he came and approached the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said that you came to ask me about righteousness, piety, bir. He said, At-taqwa ha huna, at-taqwa ha huna, at-taqwa ha huna. The taqwa is here, and he pointed to his chest 3 times. So today I would like to remind myself and all of us here, bidnillah, that taqwa is something that we cannot do without. Taqwa is something that we can never have enough of. Taqwa is a subject matter that we all need to constantly remind ourselves and others about, especially in this time period that we're living in, this period of ghuraba, of strangeness. Allah Azza wa Jal, He had mentioned that, as we mentioned last week, وَلَقَدْ وَصَيْنَا الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ أَنِ اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said that He had advised those people who had come before us regarding the taqwa of Allah, meaning the Yahud wa Nasara, that they should have the taqwa of Allah. And us also, the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Ummah of Ijaba, that we should have the taqwa of Allah. وَمَنْ أَصْدَقَ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. And who is more truthful in speech than Allah Tabarak Ta'ala? Nowadays, if you remind people to have a taqwa of Allah, ittaqillah, ya rajal, oh brother, oh sister, ittaqillah, stop doing what you're doing. They say, but everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is drinking lean. Everybody else is smoking pot. Everybody else is doing kidha wa kidha. Everybody else is posting illicit images of themselves on the internet. So what's the big deal? We say, ittaqillah. As Allah Azza wa Jalla says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. That we should and they should have the taqwa of Allah so that perhaps we will be successful. We have to understand that this blessed reminder from Allah Ta'ala, it does not exclude anyone. It does not exclude the Imam. It does not exclude the people who are praying or those who are listening. All of us have to have the taqwa of Allah if we want to be successful. Nowadays, ever since the advent of the internet, a person can be involved in so much haram, sitting right beside you in the masjid on his device. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. A person can be sitting down beside you in the masjid on his device and involved in so much haram. Why? Because of the lack of taqwa. We have to have taqwa. In the past, we'd have to go outside and look for trouble. But nowadays, we are afraid of our children, those of us who have children, even in our own home. Before, we used to let them go out and play. But we say, don't go here, don't go there, don't pass there, because you might get into trouble. But now we're afraid of our children, even in the safety of our own homes, because they can be involved in so much haram things in our own homes, under our own tutelage, under our own guidance, right under our noses. They can be involved in so many things. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Allah Azza wa Jal, He reminds us in Surah Naba, Inna lil muttaqina mafaza, that those people who are working with their taqwa will have been successful. They have already succeeded. Allah Azza wa Jal, He is reminding us, وَتَقَّى وَيَعْلَمُكُمْ اللَّهُ. We should have the taqwa of Allah if we want to get knowledge, if we want to become knowledgeable about things, because a person could be so knowledgeable about their profession, their science, but if they don't have the knowledge of the taqwa of Allah, then that rajul is ahmak. He's dumb. He's a foolish person. There isn't any knowledge which is greater than the knowledge of taqwa of Allah Ta'ala. Allah He reminds us also in Surah Yunus regarding the awliya of Allah. Allah inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. Alladhina amanu wa kan yattaqun. Sadaq Allah. Isn't it those people who are the close friends of Allah, the awliya of Allah, plural of wali, the friend of Allah? Anyone can become a wali of Allah to their level of taqwa. Alladhina amanu, Allah says, the first criteria of attaining taqwa. وَكَانَ يَتَّقُونَ. We have to have the iman, the belief in Allah, and follow up our belief by saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, with amal salih, with good deeds, with wara, with protecting ourselves from falling into the haram. So the first thing that we have to understand in this thing called taqwa is that taqwa has been loosely translated to mean fear. And this is not giving justice to this word, taqwa. Because Allah is al-Wadud. He's a loving creator. Allah, He did not create us so that we should just be afraid of His punishment. We have to be weary. We have to be cautious. Because the bird does not fly with one wing. A bird flies with two wings. One with fear, one with khawf, one with raja. Fear and hope. We are fearful of disobeying Allah Ta'ala. And at the same time, we're only human. We're going to make mistakes. So we hope that Allah Ta'ala, He will forgive us. Wallah alhamd, this phrase of a taqwa has been mentioned in many places in the Quran and authentic sunnah, that we are all required to have if we want to be successful in this life. So for us to just try to translate this very powerful Arabic word or phrase with just one word to say it means fear, and we're not doing justice to this word, taqwa. Because this Arabic word, taqwa, it implies ittaqa, meaning to protect oneself. Ittaqa, or to be weary, as is come in the narration of Ubay ibn Ka'b, anhu. When Umar ibn Khattab, he asked him, and we might all have heard of this conversation between these two great Sahaba Jalil. Umar ibn Khattab, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he asked Ubay ibn Ka'b, what is taqwa? Ma hiya taqwa? What is a taqwa? Ubay ibn Ka'b, he asked him the question. He rephrased it by asking him, putting the question back to the questioner. Look at the hikmah of these two Sahabi Jalil. He said, have you ever walked in a valley or a path where there was a lot of thorns? He said, what did you do? He said, yes. Umar ibn Khattab said, yes. He said, what did you do when you're walking in that place? He said, I put my clothes together and I struggled till I got through without being scathed or ripped of my clothing by the thorns. Ubay ibn Ka'b said, that is taqwa. That is taqwa. That is taqwa. That you take care and you struggle through this life's difficulty till you reach the end of the road without any sins. My dear brothers and Iman, as we all know, sometimes we come or we go away on vacation and trips. We go to visit people. We have stopovers. Some of us, we purposely take a vacation so as to leave the community and to leave their taqwa behind, to purposely involve in sins. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. This is wrong, my dear Iman. We cannot leave our taqwa behind. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَتَزَوَّدُوا إِنَّ خَيْرَ ذَلِ التَّقْوَى, that we should put or take our provisions along with us on the way. For lack of better words, we should take our provisions with us in our suitcase, our luggage. And the best thing that we should carry with us is taqwa. Another excellent example is in Sahih al-Bukhari, and the authorities of Sa'd, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna dunya hilwatun khudira, wa inna Allah mustakhlifukum fiha, wa nadiratun madha ta'malun, fattaqu dunya wa taqu nisa, inna awwala fitna bani Israel kanat min an-nisa." Aw kama qala sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that this world that we're living in, this dunya, hilwatun khudira, it is sweet and green and alluring. And Allah has made us vicegerents on this earth. Look at how you're dealing, how you're acting in this world. He said, فَاتَّقِ الدُّنْيَا وَاتَّقِ النِّسَاءِ. We have to watch out for this world, the allurements of this world, and watch out for the nisa. We should be afraid of this world? Are we supposed to be afraid of the woman? No. Which man is supposed to be afraid to go out into the world and earn their livelihood? Which man is supposed to be afraid of women? No. We have to be weary of these things. Because the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the first fitna of Bani Israel was from the women. Also, there's a very important verse in Surah Anfal, ayah number 25, where Allah says, وَاتَّقُوا فِتْنَةَ لَا تُصِيبَنَّ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنكُمْ خَاصَّةً وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. Or taqi fitna, be wary, be cautious of the fitna of life, which does not afflict anyone in particular. And know, wa'alamu, and Allah shadid al-iqab. We have to know that Allah is severe in punishment and retribution. and Ibn Mas'ud and Mujahid, they have stated regarding this verse that this verse was addressing the Ashab of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the companions of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But Ibn Mas'ud said that there is no one amongst us except that there is something which represents a fitna that they have to have taqwa of. And this is very true, subhanallah. This Sahabi Jalil said, anhu, over 1400 odd years ago, that there isn't one of us except there is something which represents a fitna that we have to have taqwa of. As we know, there are many of us who are very strong when it comes to worship, ibadah. But when it comes to money, they forget everything. It's like as if they've become a wild person and nothing can get in their way. This is the reality. Some people are very pious. They never miss the khamsa salawat in jama'ah. But when it comes to money, to make money, to earn money, or to be ahead of others in terms of money, wealth, position, is as if you see a different person, as if there isn't anything named taqwa. If we have this problem, if we are one of those who has this problem, let me remind us of this hadith. Two authentic hadith. One is in the Muslim of Imam Ahmed, and other in Sahih Muslim. First, an authority of Anas bin Malik, that the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, "Attaqa du'a mazlum, when kana kafiran, inhu laysa dunaha hijab." Aw kama qala Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, when he was sending Mu'adh bin Jabal and Anas bin Malik to Ahl Kitab, to Yemen, he said, "Attaqa du'a mazlum." Be wary, watch out, be careful of the prayer, the supplication of the oppressed, even if it is a non-Muslim. Because there's no hijab, there's no partition between that oppressed person's dua and Allah Ta'ala. Also the hadith is Sahih Muslim, عن جابر رضي الله عنه أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: اتقى الظلم فإن الظلم ظلمات يوم القيامة واتقى الشح فإن الشح أهلك من كان قبلكم حملهم على أن يكشفوا دماءهم واستحلوا ما حرمهم الله. This hadith is on authority of Jabir anhu, who said that the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, "Ittaqa dhulm." Ittaqa dhulm. Be wary of dhulm. Watch out for oppressing others. Don't be watching out for others oppressing you, but we must watch out that we do not oppress anyone, because dhulm, oppression, is darkness on Day of Judgment. Wattaqa shuh. And he said, watch out for being stingy. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he joined these two things, oppression and stinginess. It's as if when we see this, we understand that the person who is stingy, they oppress their own self. Man yabqala ala nafsi, Allah Azza wa Jalla says. The person who is stingy, who does not want to spend, they are only being stingy and harming their own selves. The Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says, goes on to say, because beware of it, because it destroyed those people who came before us. It caused them to shed blood and to make that which is haram halal. So Taqwa Madi Basalam Iman is our moral compass in this life. Without taqwa, then we will be astray. We will be astray, without a doubt. As the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has stated in so many hadith, Taqwa ha-huna, Taqwa ha-huna, Taqwa ha-huna. Taqwa is here. He said, look at your heart. Tastaftin qalbak. Seek a ruling from your heart. Before we go fatwa shopping, we have to first ask ourselves, is it even necessary to ask a sheikh about this thing? Because there is definitely something doubtful about this. Why are we asking about certain things? Do we want to get a definite answer? Or we're just trying to find some sheikh to make the haram halal for us? The Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us about the heart. He said, everyone has inside their bodies mudghah, a piece of flesh. إذا صلحت صلح جسم كله. إذا فسدت أفسد جسم كله. ألا وهي قلب. أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. Every one of us has inside of our chest a piece of meat. If it is good, the whole body is good. If it is corrupted, then the whole body is corrupted. That is our heart. Our hearts are our moral compass in this life. If we do not have that basic morality to say within ourselves, you know what, I'm not even going to ask any sheikh about this. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to me. So why am I even going to bother to ask? Because nowadays, everybody wants to be their own boss. Everybody's doing this. Everybody's drinking lean. Everybody's smoking pot. So if the government says it's okay, if everybody's doing it, it can't be that bad. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. Abdullah bin Mas'ud, he has stated, commenting on the ayat of Allah, Attaqallah haqq tuqatihi. We have to have the consciousness, the taqwa of Allah, which is due for Allah, which means that Allah Ta'ala must be obeyed and not defied. He must not be forgotten. And he, above all else, must be appreciated and not be an ingrate. We should not be an ingrate, a person who is ungrateful for the blessings that Allah has given us. May Allah bless us and give us, endow us, and pour upon us that love of taqwa. Amin, amin, amin. Bismillah, salatu salam, ala Rasulullah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man tabi'a huda wa ba'd. As we mentioned at the beginning of our khutbah, for those latecomers, is that taqwa is something which is our moral compass in life. There are so many of us who have been deceived by the freedom of having the device in our hands, that we can go online and we can become lost. Some people, without even consciously doing it, the first thing they go for in the morning, right before their cup of coffee or tea, is their cell phone or their tablet, or they go online. And they without even thinking about it. And without even thinking about it, they are involved in so many haram things without even consciously understanding what they're doing. In the past, we say, kids, go outside and play, enjoy, but don't pass the fence, don't come up, don't leave the yard, don't go on that side, because you might run into those bad people. Now, inside our own homes, our children can be involved in so much haram. In the masjid, a brother can be, or sister can be on his device, involved in so much haram. If it wasn't for the taqwa of Allah, then we would be astray. So let me remind myself and all of you that without having this taqwa in our hearts, embedded in our hearts as our yardstick, then we will definitely be astray. We have to be thankful for this ni'mah, this blessing of taqwa. So I want to just end off with some blessings or benefits or fa'idah of taqwa. Because nowadays, when you remind somebody to have taqwa, they say, leave me alone. Everybody else is doing this. Everybody else is drinking lean. Everybody else is smoking. The government will make it halal. It's legal. Just take it easy. Relax. Calm down. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I want to remind us of a hadith and the thought of Abu Hurairah. This is Sahih Tirmidhi, who asked Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, what is the main cause of people going to paradise, and what is the main cause for people going to the hellfire? The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says the main reason for people to go to paradise is taqallah husnul khuluq, the taqwa of Allah and righteous character, good morality. And the main reason why people will end up in the hellfire is their mouths and their private parts. It's the main reason. So we have to be careful. If we do not know that something is haram, then we should be quiet. We shouldn't say it's okay. Leave me alone. If a brother or sister reminds you, or we're reminded, vice versa. If we remind someone or we're reminded, we should say Jazakallah khair. Maybe we know what the brother or sister, what they're telling us is true. We shouldn't stop them from what they're saying. We should be humble enough to let them complete their sentence. and complete the barakat and the khair. Accept it with full acceptance. So we should remember what Allah says. We all should remember. Ya alladhina aminu ittaqullah wa qulu qawlan sadidan. Allah says, "O you who have attained faith, O you who believe." We have to have the taqwa of Allah and always speak a word that is directed towards the truth. Why? Allah says, what is the result of this? What is the benefit of doing this? Everybody else is lying. Everybody else is being khain, is being tricky, have a forked tongue. Why should I be like that if everybody else is like that? Allah says, يُصْلِحْ لَكُمْ أَعْمَالِكُمْ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. Allah says, if we let everybody else do what they're doing, if they want to be bad, let them be bad. If they want to be khain, let them be khain. We have to keep in mind, Allah says, O you who believe, we have taqwa of Allah, ittaqullah, as it should be for Allah, and always speak a word directed to the truth. As a result, Allah will rectify our conditions. He will forgive us of our sins. And whosoever obeys Allah and His Messenger has achieved a great success. Also, ending off regarding taqwa, for those who came late, this moral compass of taqwa, and we cannot just loosely translate taqwa to mean fear, because this word, taqwa, this phrase, this eloquent Arabic phrase, has occurred in so many places in the Quran and authentic Sunnah. This is something that we need so that we can be successful. We want to leave off with this ayah in Surah Anfal, ayat number 29. Where Allah says, Ya alladhina amanu, in tattaqullah, yaj'alakum furqan, wa yukaffir ankum sayyi'atikum, wa yaghfir lakum, wallahu dhu fadlin adhim. Allah says so eloquently, this is the thamarat, this is the blessing, this is the reward of taqwa. That if we have the taqwa, in tattaqullah, if we work with our taqwa, if we have it, if we understand it, and we have that moral compass within us, and we work with that taqwa, Allah Azza wa Jal will give us a furqan. What is this furqan? A criterion to judge and to understand things. We'll understand things, and He will give us nur. He'll make us understand to be able to differentiate things justifiably. We'll understand things. This is coming from Allah Ta'ala. Why is this guy so smart? How come Allah bless this man so much? Or that sister so much? Because that person is a person of taqwa. We don't see it. We don't deal with them. But we can understand that that's the type of people that we should associate with. Nowadays, people want to associate with people who they know are bad, who they know are corrupt. If we want to be people of taqwa, this is one of the biggest roadblocks along the way. That we, by our own desires, by our own feet, our own hands, are associating with those people who we know are not people of taqwa, who we know are sinners. So if we want to be of those who are covered in Allah's rahmah, if we want to be of those who Allah has given the furqan, what is a furqan? It is something which Ibn Abbas has stated is a salvation. Al-Furqan means a salvation. It means special assistance from Allah Ta'ala. In tattaqullah, Azza wa Jalla says, Ya'alakum furqan. He will give us a furqan. He will give us that ability to be able to distinguish between right and wrong. How did that? Some people can look at a person and say, this person is a nice person. Why? Because this is a person of taqwa. This isn't anything out of this world or out of the ordinary. But those people who have taqwa, they understand things from nur of Allah Azza wa Jal. Inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. Alladhina amanu wa kanu yattaqun. Those people who are trying to be close to Allah, those people who are wali, the friends of Allah, the close friends of Allah, la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. They have no fear and they have no sadness. And those people will be fearful and sad. They are people who believed in Allah and they had taqwa. So ask Allah Azza wa Jal by His Asma al-Husna, wa Sifat al-Uliya, His greatest names and His attributes, that He will make us of those righteous muttaqun. May Allah Azza wa Jal help all of us and purify our hearts from this shuh, stinginess, from this dhulam. Because this stinginess and dhulam and oppression, these are things which are roadblocks on our path to taqwa. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless all of us and give us that tawfiq, give us the ability, give us the love, give us that nobility that is due for the muttaqeen. Amin, amin, amin. Inna Allah wa malaikatu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. صلوا عليه وسلم تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار